Hello, welcome back to Fred in the Shed. A bit of a different one. This one, I'm currently staying with Mrs. Fred and the two woofs in this rather nice cottage right in the middle of Thetford Forest. Really isolated. We're really enjoying the solitude. But in this cottage, you normally get things like sort of books and games and stuff supplied by the owners. But I've come across something rather interesting. At least I think it's interesting. And that is a very old music box. Here it is now. I reckon this is about probably 120 years old. Look at that. And it still works. It's a little bashed up here and there, but it still works. So I thought in this video we'll have a closer look at it because it's something that I've never really come across. And then at the end of the video we'll play it because it does still play a tune. And we'll give it a play. But let me carefully take it out of here, and it's really, really heavy, and move it to somewhere where there's a little bit more light. So here it is. I say nothing that I've come across before. I do remember in the 1960s and 1970s little musical jewellery boxes were quite popular. My mum had one of those, and that worked on the same principle as this, but never seen the original type of music box. This one, I don't know if you can see that, made by, is that Imholf and Mukle of 110 New Oxford Street, London. I did do a little bit of a Google on this, and it appears that these music boxes, they weren't popular for very long. Seemed to appear about 1890, and by about 1910, 1915 it was all over. I suppose the gramophone took over. They did do some rather elaborate ones. This one is relatively basic in comparison. They did ones with great big horns to radiate the music, I suppose, to give it some resonance, make it louder. Some of them also had little bells and drums in the back by the drum here, which chimed along with the music. This one, I suppose, yeah, it's quite sort of basic. It's not in bad condition. I imagine it's had some kind of restoration, being about 120 years or maybe 125 years old. The ratchet system does seem a little bit worn, but I'll wind it up in a minute and we'll let it play. Let's have a closer look at the mechanism. It's relatively simple for its time. You've got a powerful coil spring in a drum here, which I assume was the same they would use in a wind-up clock. And then you've got the musical drum itself. This looks like stainless steel. It certainly must be very tough. And then you've got those tiny little pins on the drum. I don't know how they were created. No idea. And then they strike this sprung steel comb. And obviously that makes the sound. And it's resonated rather nicely, which you'll hear in a moment, by this wooden box. On this side, you've got the ratchet system, and this is a little bit worn. The teeth are a little bit abused here. But the whole thing is, I mean, it's amazing. This is built to last. It's really, really heavy. I would say it weighs about 25 kilos. Solid steel plate as well. And that's, I think, why it survived 120 years. I mean, what are we making today that makes music? Maybe your phone. That's not going to be probably working in 20 or 30 years, let alone 120 years. We're just not making anything like this anymore. It's quite sad. So yeah, in a moment I'll start it up. This ratchet system is a little bit worn, and there's no stop-start brake on it, so it instantly starts playing. The only other controls that it's got, if I spin it round here, is there seems to be a speed controller here. Just going to edit in a little bit here. I've just realised that, which I thought was a speed regulator control, is actually a track indicator. It appears there's more than one track on this drum. When it reaches the end, that moves across to indicate which track, and they're saying there's 12 different positions on there. So it's possible this has actually got 12 tracks on the drum. And how cool is that? And that's why you've got a repeat function here. It'll automatically change to the next track, or you can hold it and make it repeat. That's pretty cool, isn't it? On this end of the drum there is a geared wheel. There does seem to be a locking mechanism in place there. Then you have a vaned speed regulator, pretty much you get like on a steam engine. And that's really about it for this side. Let me just show you the controls. So here are the two controls. You've got this button here that says change and repeat. So I wonder if it says change, I wonder if you could maybe change the cylinder. It just doesn't look that way to me. It looks completely fixed in. Honestly don't know. And then you've got a stop and a play. Unfortunately that isn't working, so it plays as soon as you start it up. But that's really about it. Really is a wonderful thing. I've never seen one of these up close, and I've only seen the cheap copies that you can buy nowadays, the little ones that you wind up from China. And this is the real deal, made in New Oxford Street, London. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wind it up and it will start playing, and then I'll play the video out and let you hear the sound. The sound quality is really nice because it's a completely wooden box, a bit like a guitar. It really resonates the sound and it goes surprisingly loud. So that's it. Something different on Fred in the Shed. I like it. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Right, I'm going to wind it up now. I'm going to shut up. Thanks as always for tuning into the video, and here comes this tune. I don't know what it is, but it certainly sounds good.